So come to standing. Lift and roll the shoulders. Lift your toes and press your feet down. And come to hip width apart. And then once more, lift and roll the shoulders. And we're coming to your neck. Breathing in, turn to the left. Breathing out, turn the head to the right. And only go as far as works for you. Into the left. And out to the right. And again in your own time. So it's not just the neck, we're also looking at the thyroid and parathyroid, which is part of our metabolic control. And then come back to the centre. Drop the chin to the chest and roll the head up to the right, only as far as it works for you. Drop the chin to the chest and roll to the left. And then come back to the centre, chin to chest. And just take one hand to the heart centre and think of a cobra that rears up. So you're just lengthening the head, the neck to come up with control. And then release the arm. And then breathing in, raise the right arm, stretch it up, reach up, and then breathing out, turn the head to the left. Breathe in, come to the centre, and breathing out, lower the right arm. And then breathing in, raise the left arm. Breathing out, turn the head to the right. Breathe in, come back to the centre. And breathing out, lower the left arm. Lift and roll the shoulders. This opens the gateway, the pathway from the throat up to the head. And then very, very gently just circle the wrists up, stretch out, and then circle the wrists down. And with your feet still hip width apart, just come to sway from side to side. This is moving all 5 energies in the yogic world. So Apana, Samana, Dhyana, Prana, and then the upward energy for the throat, Udana. And then just come to settle down. And once more, lift and roll the shoulders. And then just bringing the fingertips to the collarbone. This is for the shoulders. Just circle the elbows in one direction. It doesn't matter if your elbows meet or they don't meet. And just reverse the circle, stretching up and round. And make the next one the last one. And then release. Lift and roll the shoulders. And then hands to the heart centre and just open the arms and then hug yourself. Remembering which arm is on top. Come forward, chin to chest, and then just sway gently from side to side. So you're opening the upper back. And it is a gesture of self-compassion, love thyself. And then just breathing in, open the arms up. Remember which was on the top, because when we come back the other way, it's going to be the other one on the top. If you don't remember, don't worry. And then just very gently going from side to side. And then just release and lift and roll the shoulders. And then just bring the fingers to the collarbone, just where the collarbone meets the shoulder, and then just very gently tap, So this comes into something called EFT. It's connecting into a meridian, it's a kidney meridian. It's called the K27 point, but it connects to our whole essence, our whole life vitality. And if you're just tapping, you think, oh, how weird. It is weird, but it distracts the mind with a sensory application away from thinking. It's hard to think when you're just tapping like this. And then even more weird, just take your fingertips and just very tap at the top of the head. And you can just move your fingertips around because you've got acupressure points underneath your fingertips. But this again is very hard to think about stressing when you're tapping your head. And then just release the hands and lift and roll your shoulders. Soften your knees, circle the arms up. Clasp, reverse the arms upwards, and then breathing out, go to one side, it doesn't matter which. Breathing in, come to the centre, tummy in, and then breathing out, come to the other side. Breathe in, come to the centre, and breathe out, slightly turn to one side, only go as far as it works for you. Come to the centre, and breathing out, turn to the other side. And then come to the centre. And then lower your arms, lift and roll the shoulders. And have your hands on your waist. And then just very gently bend the knees. So bending the knees, bottom maybe away from you a little bit, connects into the lower abdominal area and engages your abdominal muscles. And then breathing in, coming up to standing again. And then we're going to come to the opposite direction of just testing our balance, lifting the heels. And well done. And then just gently lower the heels back down to the ground and release the hands. Lift and roll the shoulders, clasp the hands behind you. You can have your hands open if that's easier, or you want to make things hard for yourself, have the palms together, and you'll find that this opens you up at the shoulder level. If you bring your hands away, that opens you a little bit more. And then turn to the left. Come to the centre and turn to the right. And come to the centre. Soften the knees, tummy in, and come forward. Let your head drop chin to chest, and then as an option you can lift your arms behind you and up. And then lower the arms, soften the knees, and come back up to standing again. And release the hands, just shake them out. And then lift and roll the shoulders and bring the palms of the hands together. If you can't do that, then just hold your wrists or hold your elbows. And again, depending on the capacity that you've got, you can bring your elbows slightly out to the side. Breathing, turn to the left, come to the centre, and then perhaps breathing out, turn to the other side, and come to the centre. And then just release the hands, lift and roll the shoulders. And we're going to come to a couple of half salutes to the sun. Hands together at the heart centre, soften the knees, and circle the arms up, stretch up. Palms together, come through the centre, and then come to soften your knees and slide the hands down to the shins. Breathing in, half lift. Breathe out, bend in, elbows out to the side. Breathe in, half lift. And stay here as you breathe out. And then as you breathe in, soften the knees, press the feet down, and roll up vertebra by vertebra to standing. Lift and roll the shoulders. Raise the arms, stretch the fingers, thumb behind, little finger in front of you, and then lower the hands. Lift and roll the shoulders. Half salute again, hands together at the heart centre. Soften the knees, circle the shoulders up, hands up, stretch up, palms together, and then come through to the heart centre, softening the knees. Slide the hands down to the shins, breathing in, half lift, breathing out, soften in. Half lift, and stay here as you breathe out. Breathing in, soften the knees, press the feet down and roll up vertebra by vertebra to standing. Lift and roll the shoulders. And then stretch the hands up, join the thumbs, and just sway from side to side, opening the ribs, the intercostal muscles, and increasing breath capacity. And then come to the centre, and then just circle the wrists down. Lift and roll the shoulders. Hands on the waist, feet hip width apart, and we're coming to the neck. So just think of your nose as a pencil and think of making a horizontal figure of 8. Doesn't matter which way you go. So breathing in as you lift your neck up, breathing out as it goes down, breathing in as you come up for your 8, and breathing out as it comes down. So this figure of 8 with the neck is a very safe way of moving the neck within your control, not overdoing it. The thyroid and parathyroid glands are being activated here on the side-to-side movement, but also the pineal and the pituitary glands, which is part of your master metabolic control on the up and down movement of the head. And we always tend to start with what's the most dominant side or part of our mind that's most dominant. So you can carry on doing this, but if you want to change it and go in the opposite direction, then feel free to do that. And don't be surprised if you go wrong. If you do, just start again. Because one side is generally so much stronger than the other side. And just very gently come to the centre. Take an in and an out breath and just reorientate. And then have your feet hip width apart. And make in your mind a figure of 8 as you swirl your hips around. So it's almost like a hula hoop effect. And you're softening your knees as you're swirling to one side and then to the other side. So this is swirling the energy in the abdominal area. And then again, think about changing direction. And if you can't make that, then don't worry about it. And then come to standstill. And then just release the hands. And then we're going to come to shoulders and neck. So step forward a little bit with your left foot. If you're wobbling on your balance, put your left foot out further to support you, and your right foot is at about 45 degrees. It's a modified warrior one. Make a very light fist with your hands. And if you've got shoulder restriction, you might not want to, you can keep your elbow bent. So breathing in, circle your right arm and your eyes follow your thumb. So you can make it quite slow, remembering that if you've got a shoulder restriction, you can bend your elbow. And so this becomes a neck exercise, a shoulder exercise, And it becomes a mindfulness exercise because as we lift our eyes up to look at the thumb, the lifting of the eyes disconnects the eyes from the stress centres of the brain. And then when you're ready, start to reverse your circle, still remembering that you've always got the option to bend your elbow if you've got a shoulder limitation. And then just release. Come to bring your left foot back, lift and roll the shoulders, and then step forward with your right foot. Same thing, so that you've got your right foot out to the side a little bit, your left foot is at a sort of comfortable 45 degrees. Make a light fist with your left hand, and then circle your shoulder in one direction. Remembering that you can always bend your elbow. And then think about reversing the circle. And come to stillness and step your right foot back. And lift and roll your shoulders. Hand fingertips together. Just look at the fingertips. It's called Hakini Mudra. Anytime you want to boost your creativity and your thought process, it redirects the energy that emanates from the end of the fingers back into the body. And each finger connects to an energy and part of an organ in the body. And this just focuses that energy. And then we're going to come to lying on our backs, knees bent. So this comes into lower back, but we're also going to be coming into the neck again. And have your bolsters to within easy reach. So the first thing is to bend the knees. The feet are hip width apart, and hands can be palms down on the floor next to you, or they can be resting on your tummy. And we're going to start by just gently turning the head to one side, giving the weight of the head to the ground. And when you're ready, bring the head back and gently turn the head in the opposite direction. And once more to each side in your own breath pattern. Giving the weight of the head to the ground. When the head's quite heavy, releases the muscles and holding the head upright. And then coming back to the centre. So your feet can stay where they are, or they can go slightly wider to the edges of the mat. And then again, with hands either palms down on the abdomen or palms down on the mat alongside you, let both knees drift to the right and your left hip will lift off the ground. Breathing in, bring both knees upright, and then breathing out, just let both knees drift towards the left side. They won't touch the ground, and the right hip will lift. And then in your own time, begin to sway the knees from side to side and feel that you can adjust the width of your feet to suit you and how far you go down and the pattern. Ideally, you would coordinate the movement with your breath, but whatever works for you. And then once you've established that pattern of swaying from side to side, you've got the option of bringing your head into the movement. So as your knees go in one direction, your head would turn away from the direction of the knees. Breathing in, both the head and the knees come back to the centre, and as you then move the knees to the other side, the head turns in the opposite direction away from the knees. And you'll notice that this is massaging at the top of the bottom across that point that can get very tight. It's called, I believe, a GB30 point. It's a meridian Chinese energy system. And then just very gently coming to the centre. And you might want to adjust your feet into being hip width apart. And then keeping your right foot where it is, hug your left knee into your chest. Feel that the back of the neck is long to allow blood to travel, energy to travel up into the head. And carrying on with the figure of 8, as you're holding your left knee, you can either imagine a vertical or a horizontal figure of 8. I like to imagine a vertical figure of 8, and I very gently move my left knee in a little figure of 8. It can be tiny, so that you're moving the top of the leg in the hip socket. But the option or the invitation, of course, is always to move the leg in a wider figure of 8, as wide as you want to make it. And again, this figure of 8 is very contained and very safe for the hip movement. The shoulders and the hips are both rotational joints, and we tend not to move them to their full range of movement, and that's where you can get little stiffness building up, arthritic aspects of calcification or toxins. And then very gently hugging the left knee into the chest. Drop your hands underneath your left thigh, clasping your hands maybe together, and very gently extend the left foot to the ceiling. Extend the left heel, and then just move the foot in the opposite direction. I hesitate to say point because that could give you cramp at that pointing action. And again, as you breathe in, just extend the heel, and breathing out, point the toe. And once more in your own time. And then begin to circle the left ankle in one direction. And then circle the ankle in the opposite direction. And then very gently start to walk your hands up the back of your left leg, bringing the left leg towards you. You can keep a bend in your leg. And then the next phase, or the next invitation, would be to drop your hand, perhaps your right hand, underneath your head and your neck to support it. And then when you next breathe out, lift your head off and neck slightly off the ground, supported by your hand. Feel your tummy or abdominal muscles engage, and then just very gently bring your head back to the earth. Slide your hand out from underneath your head and hug your left knee into the chest. And then open your left knee to the left and let your left ankle rest on top of your right thigh. Hands come down, palms down alongside you. And just very gently sway the knees from side to side. The knees it's going in the same direction, and your hips will lift very subtly off the ground. So again, you're massaging across the top of your bottom. and opening the left groin, which connects into the lower lymphatic system. It also opens or connects into a muscle called the piriformis muscle, which is a little muscle on the outside connecting the leg to the hip, and this can often be implicated in lower back issues. And then hugging the left knee into the chest, just enjoy that hug, and then supporting the left knee, just place the left foot on the ground. Palms down alongside you and just sway your knees from side to side. And then pick up your right knee, hugging the right knee into the chest. It takes a moment for the body to relax and just connect into the movement. And then coming to your figure of 8, whether it be vertical or horizontal, just very gently swirling your knee while you're holding it in either a vertical little figure of 8 or horizontal. So this, what's called semi-supine position, works on the foundational of the 5 energies. It's called Apana, but you need to get your foundation set for everything else to be following along. So the Apana energy is viewed in yoga as really one of the most important energies to get right. And the Apana energy in yoga, medicine, Ayurveda, just go in the opposite 8 if you need to. You want to alter that. The Apana energy connects into the Vata dosha in Ayurveda, and Vata very much has the air element there, and this Vata out of kilter very much equates to pain. So this is almost like a fetal position, so it's very pain relieving. It's quite a detailed explanation. And then just very gently hugging the right knee into the chest, drop the hands underneath the right thigh, clasp them, and very gently raise the right leg to the ceiling. You can keep a bend in your right knee and extend the right heel, pointing the toes. And a couple more times in your own breath pattern, extending the right heel and pointing the toes. So as you extend the right heel, you can feel the back of the leg all the way along the back of the leg, the muscles there. And then begin to circle the right ankle in one direction. And then very gently circle the ankle in the opposite direction. And then release, and then walking your hands up the back of your right leg. You can keep a bend in your right leg and stop when you think you've gone far enough. And you can stay here, or you can drop a hand underneath your head and back of the neck. And as you breathe out, lift your head up towards the extended leg. If you're very strong in your core muscles, you can use both hands against the leg, but then that puts a strain possibly on the back of your neck. But if that works, then great, and then just release the head back down to the ground. Slide your hands down and hug your right knee into the chest. And then open the right knee to the right, resting the right ankle on top of the left thigh, hands palms down. And then just very gently sway the knees from side to side, opening now on the right side, the right lower hip. You're getting blood flow into that right side, you're connecting into the lower lymphatic system, which boosts your immune system. And you're massaging across the top of the bottom again, the lower back. And then come to the centre and then hug the right knee into the chest and just supporting it, place the right foot onto the ground. Palms down alongside you on the mat. Make any adjustments to the feet to feel comfortable. And we're going to do a couple of pelvic tilts. That's flattening the back to the ground as if you're going to lift your bottom. And then releasing so there's a little gap under your lower back. And it's very helpful for remedial movement on your lower back. And just repeat a couple of times in your own breath pattern. The back's not being asked to do very much because it's being supported by the ground, so the heavy-duty back muscles can start to relax. And this pelvic tilt is pulsing the lower back against the floor. And then just release. So hugging the left knee into the chest once more. Have your bolster to the right, close to hand. And then extend your right leg along the ground. And potentially extend your right heel, toes up to the ceiling, if that's comfortable. And then roll the entire body, so you might need to use your left elbow to just support you, and roll your entire body to the right. And take your bolster so that your right inner knee can perhaps rest on your bolster or use as support. Your left foot is on the top of your right thigh. Your right hand just rests somewhere on the outside of your left thigh, and your left hand rests on your left waist. Extend your right heel and then just perhaps relax it, just to stretch you out. So this is comfortable, stay here. If you want a further stretch, then bend your left elbow and raise it above your head, the back of the left hand resting on the mat. And you'll feel that stretch under your left arm, and that connects into your upper lymphatic system. If you really want to stretch yourself even further, then you can open your left hand to the left, like a book, opening your palm, well, I'd say down, but either up or down. And that's very strong under the arm, so you might like to come back to arm above you or arm on your waist. Just choose what's helpful for you. And this lying rotation, any rotation is very realigning for the back muscles, and particularly on the floor, because the back muscles aren't being asked to support the weight of the body normally, and so they can begin to relax. And then your head can either, you can look up to the ceiling, or you can just gently let it roll slightly or move slightly to the left. Eyes can be open or closed. When you close your eyes, not doing anything else, your brain waves start to move away from the normal everyday function of beta waves, and they start to go, just the mere act of closing your eyes shuts out outside external stimuli, so the brain waves can start to slow down. And it's in that slowed down state that we can rejuvenate in different ways, of course, but and be creative. So although you're not doing very much, you're actually doing a lot. And then very gently roll back onto your back. And you might feel you're twisted out of alignment. So bend both knees, place the feet on the floor, and lift the bottom, just straighten yourself out. And if you found the bolster useful, then change the bolster or pillow onto your left side. And then hug the right knee into the chest when you're ready. And begin to extend the left leg along the ground. And then when you're ready, roll the entire body, and you might need some help with your elbow to the left, and you'll use the bolster for any support that you might need. Your left hand comes somewhere on the outside of your right thigh, and for the moment your right hand can start off resting on the right waist. You can extend your left heel to stretch the body out, and you can do that at any point just to get that stretch. And then again, depending on your shoulder capacity, you can either keep your right hand on the right waist, or raise the right arm up above you, back of the hand on the floor. Feel that stretch the upper lymphatic system. Or opening the right arm out to the right, palms up or down, opening the right arm like a book along the mat. So choose what works for you. Any rotation is also helpful for the digestive system. Digestive system is of course the food that we eat, but it also applies to our mental digestion of what happens to us in life and how we process that. So again, that's tying into this fundamental core movement, affects our very being, our inner essence. And eyes open or closed, looking either up or to the right. Just find a comfortable position. And then just very, very gently rolling onto the back. Once small. Bend both knees and press both feet onto the ground to lift your back bottom up, just to realign yourself. And then hug one knee into the chest and then the other. Just rock gently from side to side. And then still holding the knees, hug both knees into the chest. Still holding them, let both knees drift away to arm's length. And just a couple more times, hugging the knees into the chest and let them drift away to arm's length in your own breath pattern. And then keeping to hold both knees. As you next breathe in, raise the left leg up to the ceiling, extend the left heel, and raise the left arm up behind you. You can bend the elbow, back of the hand might connect to the ground. And then breathing out, hug the left knee back into the chest. And come to the right side as you breathe in, raise the right leg to the ceiling. You can still keep a bend in the knee, extend the right heel. Chin comes to the chest, raise the right arm above you, and then breathing out, lower the right arm, hugging the right knee in again. And once more again to your own breath pattern on the left side, extending out, hugging the left knee into the chest. On your own time onto the right side. And then hugging both knees into the chest. When you finish, just circle both knees in the same direction. So that you're making a little circle at the base of the spine. You might find that you feel a little pressure as your head moves with this circling. And then very gently circle the knees in the opposite direction. And then supporting your legs underneath, just place both feet once more on the floor. And as an option, taking your support, your bolster, press your feet down, lift your bottom, and just place the support underneath your bottom. And then place your bottom down so that your bottom is resting on the bolster. If you've not got a bolster, don't worry, you can always improvise by placing your hands under your bottom. It's just lifting the bottom slightly. And then bring one knee to the chest, the left, right knee, doesn't matter, to the chest. Hands or palms down on the floor to support you. Then bring in the right knee, so both knees are into the chest. And then raise one leg up. You can keep a bend in the knee and then raise the other knee up. So we're now in a very Tibetan unsupported shoulder stand, legs up. And just let the feet sway slightly, almost swaying in a slight circle. Gravity apparently will dictate the direction of the circle. So an inversion like this is rebalancing for the entire hormonal system. And yet it's very restful for the head, because the head and neck are supported, the back of the head is supported on the ground. So you can imagine yourself like your legs like a piece of seaweed, just slightly swaying in the water. And then just connecting to the back of the right leg as you extend the right heel, then release, relax. Extend the left leg, left heel, and relax. And then you can explore just holding the mat, palms on the mat, opening the legs out in a V, extending the heels, and just feel the inner leg muscles tense slightly. We often forget about those inner leg muscles. And then just very gently bring the legs back together. And you can explore like a scissor movement. One leg forward, one leg back. Bring them together and then just move in the opposite direction. And bring them together. And then very gently let the knees drift into the chest again. And then just let one foot and then the other foot come back down to the earth. And you can choose to stay like this with that slight slant, that slight slope coming back to the heart. Or you can choose to lift the support out from underneath you and come to a few breaths of relaxation. So choosing your position. Taking a couple of breaths, breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth. In your breath time. So this increases the nitric oxide. I think Charlotte said yesterday, toning the muscles, relaxing and boosting your immune system. Quite easy to calm the nervous system down. Very gently let that breath float off. And just bring your attention to your feet, wherever they are, relaxing them. Check in with your ankles, calves, shins, relax. The knees, thighs, relax. The hips, relaxing. The lower abdomen, upper abdomen. heart and the chest relax. Widening the shoulders, relaxing the shoulders into the ground. Back of the neck, relaxing. And then travelling down the arms, the upper arms and the lower arms, releasing, relaxing wrists, the hands, the backs of the hands, the palms, the fingers, and the space beyond the fingers. Come to the lower back and feel the lower back heavy on the ground. Follow up the spine to the mid-back, space between the shoulder blades, the upper back, back of the neck, back of the head, the ears, and the space between the ears. Coming to the top of the head, the crown, and across the crown, down to the forehead. Smoothing out across the forehead, down to the eyebrows, the eyes, relax. Across the cheekbones and down the jaw, the throat. And then just coming from the jaw again to the lower lip, the teeth, the tongue, the upper lip. And settle the attention at the base of the nostrils. Breathing in to a place that you imagine to be the centre of your head. And as you breathe out, breathing out and putting into your out breath as it travels down through the body to the feet, anything that you don't want or is not serving you today, any pain or niggle, any thought or emotion, just let it leave through the soles of the feet. And breathing in again, at the base of the nostril to a point in the centre of the head, and let the out breath travel down inside, taking with it anything that's not serving you today, and leaving through the soles of the feet going back to the earth. And take a moment to have a thought for the day. In yoga it's called a sankalpa. Just mentally repeat that wish or intention. It can be for yourself, or it can be for somebody close to you. It can be for anything or anyone at all. And mentally have that thought a couple of times, and then be assured that that intention has been heard, has been set for the day. And now, again, coming to breathing in through the nose. But choose a colour, any colour that resonates with you, and breathe in that fine colour, transparent breath to the centre of the head, and let it drift down again, taking with anything not serving you today. And then one last breath, your coloured breath, drifts down through the soles of the feet. And then just mentally wrap yourself in like a cloud of cotton wool with your favourite colour or bobble, conferring protection and sealing in your intention for the day ahead. And then come to connect with where parts of your body that are lying on the floor, the touch of the clothes on the skin, the sounds both inside and outside. And very gently come to move fingers and toes. You might want to hug the knees into the chest and rock from side to side again. Coming back to where we are, connecting with the ground again. And then in your own time, come to a seated position. So this can be rolling to the right, away from your heart. It can be coming up to a seated position, however you want to make that. Either cross-legged position or Legs out if cross-legged doesn't suit you. And coming to bring the hands to the heart, chin to chest. Bring your hands to the forehead, our thoughts, and then just bring the hands to the lips, our words, and then come once more to hands to the heart, or hands that way, chin to chest, taking a bow for yourself, our deeds. Thank you for joining me today, and